So now how about the opposite situations? If you are given a graph of a circle and then you have to find out what is the equation of that circle, and the final answer can be two options, whether it is in general form of a circle or it is in general form of quadratic relation. So it depends on the instruction. Let's discuss this problem. So let's say that we want to find an equation of a circle with a center, let's say it's a 4, -6, okay, and the radius, for example, let's just make it 3, okay. So let's just try first how to graph it. Of course we have to use compass, and now the pointy one will be the center. Of course, you know that it's 4, -6, so it is here, okay. And then since the radius is 3, so just expand the other leg. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, yeah, okay, 3 units, and then oops, sorry, and then just make a beautiful circle with your compass. Is it visible? I think it is visible. Okay, just assume that this is visible. Now, the next question is, what is the equation of the circle? So let's just put this into our general form of circle. Since we know that the general form of our circle is x minus h square plus y minus k square equals r square. And we know that the center is h, k. So the h has been known, and the k is also given, and the radius is also given. So we can directly input the numbers. The h is 4 square plus y minus -6 square equals 3 square. So what about if the final answer is expected not in this form, not in the general form of a circle, but instead it needs to be in this form: ax squared plus by squared plus cx plus dy plus e equals 0. So it means that we need to go forward, okay? But it's relatively simple. So the next step is just expand this to square, and you have x squared minus 8x plus 16, okay, plus y squared plus 12y plus 36 equals 9, right? So these three terms, the first three terms come from this, and the last three terms comes from here. And then since we need to make it the same with the general form of this one, so let's just make the order the same with this. So the first, it is x squared, so it's right there. The second one belongs to the y squared, so it's here. It's y squared, right? And the next one belongs to x, so it is like that. And the next one belongs to the y only, okay, with the coefficient, of course. And then the numbers you can add it. 16 plus 36, it becomes 52 equals, and then since we need to make the right member equals 0, so you need to subtract both sides by 9, right? So let's just simplify this as the final step, and you have plus 12y plus 43 equals 0. Okay, the second case is if you have to find what is the equation of a circle if you are given the center of that circle is -3, 4, and it contains -4, -1. So if you need to graph it, it will be very simple because the center will be the pointy edge, -3, 4, so it's -3, 4 here, right? And then because it contains negative 4, negative 1, so negative 4, negative 1 is here. So the circle must pass that point, that coordinates. So, and then when you graph it, okay, yeah, I'm sorry with this. Okay, and that is your circle. To graph it, it's still simple because you have the center clear and it contains this negative 4, negative 1. But the question is how to find the equation. Okay, let's just okay. So since the equations of your circle this one need the center and the radius. So the center has been given, but the question is what about the radius? We don't know what is the length of the radius. But of course, because we are given the center and what it contains, you can find radius. The radius is the length of this dotted green line, right? So to find the radius, you just have to find the distance between this coordinate into the center. So if I just draw this into this point, I get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it is like a triangle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, with the base is 1 unit, like this, and this. Okay, so you just need to find the hypotenuse of the triangle, right? So because you know the height is 5 unit and the base is 1 unit, so the radius or the hypotenuse will be square root of 25 plus 1. You know Pythagoras. And then the r will be square root of 26. Okay, so do not be afraid because I know this is radical, but just chill with it. So let's go back to the equation. So let's find out the equation because you know the center and you know the radius. So just take all of the data, the information. So we have x center, so it is x minus negative 3 square plus y minus 4 square equals, the radius is square root of 26 square. Okay, let's just simplify this. So we will have x plus 3 square plus y minus 4 square equals 26. So because this is a square, the square root will be gone. And if you just ask to present it in the general form of circle, you're done. But next, if you are asked to present it in ax squared plus by squared and so on, you need to move on. So I want to change this into ax squared plus by squared plus cx plus dy plus e equals 0, right? So let's just expand this to parentheses to square. So we have x squared plus 6x plus 9 plus y squared minus 8y plus 16 equals 26. Next what? And just make the order almost the same with this one. So x squared plus y squared plus 6x and then minus 8y, and then just add this one plus 25, and then since we need the 0 on the right member, you subtract both sides by 26. So we have this. So the final answer of the circle equation is this. So now how about inequality? Okay, since we need to cover inequality also. So if this is the equation, this one, the equation of the circle. Okay, now if the equation I change into inequality symbol, if I change this into, for example, x squared plus y squared plus 6x minus 8y minus 1 is the same, but I change the equation into, for example, larger than 0. Okay, since it is just larger than without equal sign, it means the circle itself is not the solution. Okay, because it is just larger than, and since it is larger, so this circle separate two area, the inner side and the outer side. Since it is larger, you need to first make the circle dotted line, dotted curve. Okay, so yeah, let me just, because I use pencil here, let me just do this. Okay, so let me just emphasize this. This is like, yeah, it is dotted. Oops. Again, because the circle itself is not included, but the area outside of the circle, so you just put a shade there. Outside the circle are the solution for this. It means if you pick any coordinate outside the circle, for example this one, this is coordinate 4, 1. If I put x equals 4 and y equals 1, it will the inequality will be valid. It will satisfy the inequality. If I pick another point outside the area like this one, it is negative 11. I'm sorry, negative 11, 1. So if I put the x equals negative 11 and the y equals 1, it will also satisfy the inequalities. It means you just shade it outside the circle, and don't forget to make the circle dotted curve, dotted line. Okay? Okay, now second case of inequality. So since this equation satisfy or represent by this circle, okay, now if I change the equation into inequality, for example, I just copy it exactly the same, but the equations I change it into lesser than and equals to 0. So now we have lesser than and equals to 0. It means since it is equals also, the circle still solid, not dotted. It's still solid, but it has to include what is lesser than. So you need to shade the area inside the circle, like this. And the circle is still solid. So this is the graph of this inequality. It means if you pick any point inside the circle, for example this point or this coordinate, which is 5, negative 5, and you put x as 5 and y as negative 5, it will satisfy the inequalities. If you pick any point on the circle, for example this point or this point, and then you put it into the inequality, it's also satisfy the inequalities. But if you pick any point or coordinates outside the circle, it will definitely not satisfy these inequalities. So that concludes our material for now. I hope it's easy for you to understand, and we'll see you again on Ellipse on next video.